Hey guys, Yuliya here. So today is a part one of my garden design series for this spring. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Yuliya and I'm a landscape designer in northern New Jersey. I do have a master's degree in landscape design, and I also own my own design firm where I design residential spaces from small to large and also some commercial spaces. And the reason why I'm doing these garden design series is because a lot of you guys asked for it, and I really am happy to share my experiences with garden design and kind of help you with your struggles in organizing your outdoor space. Now, before I start, I just wanted to say that these videos are not to show you how to create beautiful plan renderings or 3D renderings, unless you really want to. It is basically to show an average homeowner or gardener how to organize your garden space. And you do not need any fancy equipment. You do not need a computer or a drawing board or tons of colorful pencils, again, unless you want to. And all you need is a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and ability to draw. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I cannot draw anything. If you could draw as a child, if you could draw as a 6-year-old, you can draw. So that's all you need for these videos. So to design a garden, I think we should first define what a garden is. And I think a lot of people would say that a garden is a beautiful place with lots and lots of plants. So I will post a couple of photos for you with beautiful places with lots and lots of plants. But as you can see here, those are not gardens. They are, without a doubt, beautiful places. This is actually a Russian countryside, not far from where my parents have their garden. And it's serene, it's beautiful, it's peaceful, but those are not gardens. So what defines a garden? And I always kind of struggled with that definition. And I think a garden is an organized space with lots of plants, but also man-made structures and a lot of forms and shapes and lots of ornamental plants rather than weeds or wild plants. Although right now, a lot of those plants coming into vogue. So if you have seen designs by Patio, he loves to use those wild plants, and so do I. So I think what defines a garden is a structured, organized space with some man-made elements and plants. Now, here's where a lot of gardeners and homeowners make mistakes, is that they go out there and start acquiring as many plants as possible without any rhyme or reason and placing them in their gardens haphazardly. And the place starts to look very cluttered and unorganized. But the thing is that we'll have to think about the big picture of our garden. And I understand a lot of people are doers and they want to go out there, they have fire in their belly, they want to buy the plants, they want to put them in the ground. And there are some people who are planners and they plan and they plan and they plan. But the best gardens are designed by carefully observing your outdoor space and making a plan and then doing something about it. So in this garden design series, I'm going to show you how to create that big picture, how to create that big plan, and then implement it in your garden to meet all of your desires for your outdoor space. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 3 topics. The first one is your dream list, or also known as a program. The second one is your site inventory, and the third one is your site analysis. And I know all of these things do not sound very exciting right now, but it is incredibly crucial to figure out your outdoor space and how it works and what you would like to have in your outdoor space. The first topic is a dream list or a program. And I have a pretty extensive 5-page landscape design questionnaire that I hand out to my clients before I start working with them. And without that questionnaire, I can't really start because I don't know what they want in their outdoor space. I don't know anything about their family or how they entertain or how they use their garden. So what I would like for you to do is just take a piece of paper and or a computer. You can type it up on the computer and write down all of the things that you would like to have in your garden. Something like vegetable garden or pergola or a gazebo, or maybe a water feature, open lawn to play for your kids, a fence for the dog, maybe a larger patio area or a fire pit, wider walkways, a rock garden, anything that comes to your mind, just make a list of that. And then we're going to move into our site inventory. All right, so the second topic is the site inventory. And what I find incredibly useful for the site inventory is your site survey. And I would say 95% of the time when I tell my clients I would like to see their site survey, they go somewhere in their house and they pull out their mortgage documents, and a lot of times your site survey is in your mortgage documents. And it is incredibly helpful because it already has all of the dimensions of your property and also any setbacks for your house or any other structures that you have on your property, like garages, driveways, fences, and so forth. So this is where I get started on my design. And usually it gets a little bit cluttered for me with all the numbers and dashes and everything. So I make a simplified version of site survey, which you can do by hand, or you can use Google SketchUp, which is a free program for basic functions that you can download from Google. And it is very intuitive, it is very easy to learn unless you go in deep into the design, which we obviously will not do in this video. So all you need is your property boundaries, your house, your driveways, and again, any other structures that are existing on your property to get started. So once we have our simplified site survey, we're going to go outside and we're going to write down everything that we see and feel about our property. And let's just pretend this is some imaginary property here. The size of the property is 150 feet by 75 feet. There's a house here and there's a driveway. And then I'm going to go outside and start writing everything down and drawing everything that I see. And the messier you are, the better. If you're not messy, it's it's not good. If somebody can understand what you wrote, you did not do a good job. So first of all, let's write down our orientation. Let's say this is north, south, west, east. That's very important for your sun and shade study. And normally in professional drawings, north is up, but we're not going to worry about that right now. And let's say we have a brick wall right here, and this is our street. Let's say we have an existing pine tree. There's another redbud tree right here. It's kind of uncomfortable. I'm like hovering over this. I'm not used to drawing this way. There is a walkway from the front to the driveway, and let's say entrance. This is the garage. There's a little gate. So, and so on and so forth. You can just go ahead and start drawing everything you see. Let's say these are AC units. And so let's say we have a neighbor with a trash bin that we can see from our backyard. Our other neighbor has a beautiful tree. We don't know which tree it is, but it's pretty. We have our own tree right here. Again, I'm just making this all up. This is an existing tree. Let's say we have an electrical pole right here in the corner of this right here, and then we have wires going from the house to the pole, which is a very common situation, and let's say we have another tree right here that Yuliya identified as a Norway Maple. And let's say we have a low spot right here. There is a patio right here. There's some steps going down. This is the living room. And it is very important to identify where your rooms are. There's a kitchen right here. There's a little set of steps here. And let's say there's an old hedge and let's say that's it. All right, so after I kind of identified what all of my features are, I'm going to look at the sun and shade patterns. And here I have my highlighter. So, and highlighter is perfectly adequate to draw where your sun is. So this is my south, and from my observation of living in this house for 6 months, again, making these things up, I say this is where my sun is. This is very sunny right here. And of course we have large trees right here, so those are shading some of the things out, but this right here is probably my sunniest spot right here. And then this is pretty much shade here. Maybe I have some sun right here, but not too much. There's a house here. No sun here. And maybe just a little bit right here. Right? And everything else, so this is shade here. This is shade, and maybe I have some sun right here. All right, and then I'm kind of, wind is not as important. There are some areas where you have high elevation and wind is kind of important where it's coming from. So you could say, you know, western wind, if you want to put some sort of wind barrier over here. And also, important to know where your downspouts are, and if you have any water collecting anywhere that can go into the basement. So just kind of writing down where your downspouts are helps. All right, so after our site inventory is done, and there are usually more details to this, I simplified this because I don't want to waste any of your time. I made another copy of my simplified site survey, which is going to be my site analysis. And in site analysis, we're basically starting to look for solutions to some of the problems that we have on our property. So let's start with a patio. So I really want a larger patio, and everything here again is very rough. There are no concrete shapes. This patio might as well be round or curvilinear. I am just very roughly kind of showing where the patio may be. I want a larger patio. This is really difficult to draw, you guys, from like 5 feet away. Larger patio, and I probably will need some sort of a shade structure here because this is southern exposure, and I know people are not going to fry sitting out in the southern patio, or maybe there's going to be a tree or something. Let's just say shade. But I don't want it to be too close to the house because I have a nice window here that I would like to look out. And I also have this tree right here that is, I don't know what kind of tree, but let's say it's nice. It's a nice looking, healthy tree, right? So let's say keep this tree right here. There is a low spot right here. So let's say use fill for low spot. So low spots are not good. Obviously, we don't want any boggy situations, no mosquitoes or anything like that. We want all of the water to drain away from our property, to drain away from our house, anywhere here. So if we have any problems with all the gutters that I showed you earlier, if there's any water standing, you may have to, call a contractor and run a pipe to draw the water away from the house. That's very important. Let's address this Norway Maple here. So we have our, here, this line is going like this. We have our Norway Maple here. We have electrical line. Norway Maples are very large trees. They're also terrible trees. They're invasive and they lose their limbs sporadically, and this may become a hazard. So let's say we removed it. It's no longer here. And if I were to plant something right here, it has to be under 10 feet right here. Maybe we'll put some shrubs or some smaller trees to block our neighbor's trash right here that they're probably not going to remove for years. So we're going to address it ourselves. So let's say, again, nothing is set in stone. I have no idea what's going in here. Is it going to be green giants? Is it going to be hydrangeas? I just know that I want to screen this right here. And it has to be under 15 or 10 feet because it depends on how high your wire is. Okay, so we have wind going this way. Maybe we need a wind barrier because we have a patio here. And we don't want people to get cold. Let's say in the spring, it's a nice day, but it's kind of breezy. But if we plant something here, we can hang out here early in the spring. Again, I'm going to go really fast. I don't want to bore you with this. Okay, so our neighbor has this beautiful tree, and we actually want to leave this view right here. So we can plant something low here, maybe because we have a fence here, and we plant something low and something higher right here because usually houses go like row in a row. So our neighbor probably has their house right here. So we want something taller right here to screen, something shorter. Short plantings. This nice view. Okay, so and then let's say old hedge. Let's say this hedge is either made out of Hibiscus syriacus that keeps seeding, so we need some sort of different screening right here. Let's see, what else? We have AC units here, and let's say the owner of this house is a gardener. She wants to garden, she wants like a cutting garden, and maybe compost bin. Let's put a compost bin here where nobody can see it, but you can still access it right here. So there's some sort of traffic pattern that you need to show. Maybe I need a little walkway here. And also we know we have a gate here, right? So maybe there is another traffic pattern that is forming. There was no path. Maybe we can create some sort of adorable path through some plantings here and leave an open lawn for the kids to play, maybe a play structure right here. I don't know yet. But let's throw some ideas, and this is where magic happens. Sit down with this, look at your site inventory, think about what you want to have your program ready. Where is it? I had the program somewhere here. Yeah, there's the program. Okay, let's say we have our program, we have our site inventory, and we're working on what we would like to have. Okay, so in the front, we have our walkway, and let's say we have existing plantings. They're completely overgrown, covering our windows. We need new ones, new plantings. Redbud tree, definitely keep. This is also the time to call your arborist and assess any of your trees. So I'm definitely getting rid of the Norway maple. It's a hazard. It's not a very beneficial tree for the environment. Let's keep the white pine. Let's say we'll have white pine, native beautiful tree, redbud, native beautiful tree. We have a brick wall here in the front, so we don't really need any sort of screening from the street here. But let's say this is open and everything else here is fenced and we have a dog. Maybe we need to put gates over here. Who knows? So this is, oops. This is where you just have your creativity starting to flow, and also very practical solutions. This has to be practical in order to work. This is not you going out there and buying a bunch of plants and starting to put them everywhere. This is for you to realize the water has to be away from the house. Nobody can trip on the low spot in your garden. The tree has to go because it may kill somebody. And you know, let's keep the white pine for the environment. Compost goes here because we want to compost, but nobody has to see it. So this is where the magic happens, guys. I think this is it for the site analysis. All right, guys, I hope this makes sense. And if you feel overwhelmed at this point, don't worry, it's perfectly normal. And although garden design is a lot like designing and building a house, in the house, you know, the bathroom has to be here and the kitchen has to be there and walls have to be certain size. The houses generally have to be built all at once, otherwise they won't stand. In gardens, we have advantage of phasing out projects. So you can have your large plan and then you can start with the smallest thing that you can afford financially and physically. And the idea that I want you to kind of take out of this video today is that we want to think big, but start small and don't be overwhelmed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually have homework for you to start your dream list and find a site survey and also start observing your outside space and kind of jotting down and doodling all the things that are happening in your garden. And let me know if you like this video, because I already have another one coming out next week where we're going to talk about concept design and styles and go a little bit more into details and fun stuff like designing a garden in detail. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you next time. Bye.